Ann Herbster. It is almost
Well,
time.
yes, we are.
No, I'm excited to get going tonight. We've got a lot to cover.
A lot. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Some good stuff, though.
So let me get this thing going here. And here we go. And we are live.
Hey.
With me playing behind the scenes.
Yep.
With all this lucky blah blah. I know. Hey, come on in, everybody. Welcome. We are so glad that you have come to play with us tonight. And we're excited about tonight, Ann, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. I think it's going to be interesting for people.
It will. Yeah. It will. So let's see. Where are we here? Okay. Now, if I can figure out how to turn this down. Working the controls. There we go. Okay. Hey there, everybody. Rhonda Boyle here with Ann Herbster. How you doing tonight, Ann?
Good. How are you?
Good. And welcome. We are the co-authors of the book, The Coach Business Guide, The Path to Launch and Grow Your Coaching Practice. We put this out in May, and we are excited to bring you some extra training coming in from the book, straight from the book. So if you have it, you want to grab it. And if you don't, that's okay. You probably want to grab it later, but that's grab your journal and get ready to take some notes. Because we're going to be talking about identifying things you need to identify. In the book, we wrote this to help people like you, new coaches, to help you jumpstart your coaching practice and to move you forward on your journey to a thriving coaching practice.
Right.
So in the book, there's a lot of information we provide, 53 exercises that walk you through step by step, getting your foundations in order. You know, what we found, Ann, true, is that coaches know how to coach, but they really struggle setting up a profitable business.
Right. And we found when talking to them that they get their certification, they get their training, and that's great. But what they need help is, how do they start their business? Yeah. So over the next 5 nights, we're going to cover a couple different 5 sessions. We're going to have different times. We'll be live, but we'll be taped, so you'll be able to watch it later. But tonight, we're going to talk about identifying your ideal client. But, you know, before we can jump into that, there's a couple other things that you really have to identify as you start setting up your coaching practice. So the first thing is, let's cover a couple of these. The first thing is support and resources. You know, what kind of support do you have? Who can you call on to help you get started in this? What are your support mechanisms? You know, you can't do this alone. You can't. There's so much in this. You need to be able to turn to people to ask for advice and guidance and suggestions. So put together a list of who you can call on for help. Are there family members? Are there friends that you can help? The other place to look is at other coaches. Maybe even find a mentor coach who can support you.
Right.
Once you've done that, set a goal for your launch date. Put time on your calendar during the week, as much as you can, for time to work on getting your practice set up. So you found
that commitment, if I can just jump in real quick, that commitment of picking a date is so important, really, to move you forward. It's something to do with your brain and your, motor memory or something. And studies have shown that overall. So be sure to get that done.
And tell people, because when you tell people, they understand what your goal is and what you're trying to do. So you've looked at your support and resources, define your experiences. What have you done? What are you really good at? And, you know, you got to determine how you want to coach. Are you going to be somebody who wants to work with individuals, or are you going to be somebody who wants to work with organizations? And when you work with organizations, do you want to work one-on-one, or do you want to do training and run workshops? Or, you know, so you've got to
figure out a combination of both too.
Absolutely. But you know, what we want you to do as you start this over the next 5 days with us is pick one. Start with one. Let's build one out. Let's talk. You can begin thinking about that. Then you can go back and pick something else. The other thing to put a list together. What training do you have? What degrees? What's your certification? What's your intellectual property? Some of these things you're going to want to use, especially as in a few minutes we get started thinking about your ideal client and thinking about what it is you want to coach on. And then one other area you can think about is you want to spend time thinking about your calling, your vision, beliefs, because that's really going to help frame out who you want to coach. Because today, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about who do you want to coach. And once you pick your focus, that's going to really help you identify your ideal client.
Yeah. And so it's really important that you do identify, one type of person or one type of client that they're called to serve. And it's so hard when you first get started.
Yeah.
It feels very restrictive and very narrow. And the truth is, though, think it through. You can't coach everybody. You don't want to, right? There's something you don't want. There are some situations you just don't want to coach in. So it's not true that you can coach everyone, right?
Yeah.
So why choose an ideal client? Why pick one? Well, because you'll be able to find them and talk to them and get paid, right? And that's what it's really all about.
Right. You want to get hired. Right. Yeah.
And each group of people that you talk to, they hear differently. Like words matter. And so you really want to focus in on how when you identify and narrow to your ideal client, you're able to speak to them directly because you have the language right. Each group has their own challenges. And it's a lot easier if you can, to find your ideal client if you're targeting a specific group or an individual rather than looking for the needle in the haystack, which is what you're doing otherwise, right? And you'll find lots of business just by focusing on one. It's amazing. So you're going to be focusing, it keeps you focused on the one that you have been called to coach.
That's right. And think about how will you serve them? Because that's going to be a big part of this. You're serving them, you're helping them. And you want to make sure that it's in an area, when you pick the individual, it's in an area that you're really comfortable with.
Exactly. So what you're doing is looking for who you're going to coach. And here's an example of why it matters. So once I was working with a coach and he was telling me all about his ideal client, and it happened to be a pastor at a church. He liked to work with the small, small office, the people that he was working with, inside of the church, the staff and so forth, felt really comfortable in working with that. And chiropractors. And my brain couldn't even handle what he just said because they don't match. They don't speak the same language, right? A chiropractor uses chiropractor words and a pastor uses church words, right? And so it makes a difference. And if I were to ask you, who is your ideal client? And you tell me this and that, now we have a problem because it can't be both. When you're working on your packages, your programs and so forth, you need to really focus on the one so you get the right language.
Rhonda, can I interrupt? One of our Facebook users said, speaking to everyone is speaking to no one. And that is I love that because
that's so true.
What you're trying to get people to understand is how can you talk in your example to churches or faith-based organizations and at the same time talk to chiropractors. The messaging, their needs, their challenges, their struggles are different for each of them.
That's right.
And it's going to be confusing because they're not going to see themselves in what you're offering.
Right. And they have to immediately
Yeah.
see themselves,
Yeah.
And so we do want you to, pick one when you're doing this work, pick one ideal client, and then you can expand into other areas because you've learned the principles and you've learned the pattern of language around what you need to tell that person, right?
Absolutely.
And yeah, and we want you to pick something that you're comfortable with and that you start with someone or an area that you have high confidence in because you've been working there or
Right.
that you have an understanding. So don't pick a group just because somebody says that you should pick that group,
Yeah.
right? Pick it because you're comfortable and knowledgeable.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about corporate clients. Let's say you've decided that you want to focus on working in a corporate or an organizational environment. Could be
Mm-hmm.
like the churches. And do you want to do workshops, or do you want to do executive coaching, or you want to work with leaders and managers? The big thing is, what industry are they in? And it's always better to start narrow and then expand, as we've just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
So what industry are they in? Where do you have experiences or know people that you can call on, that you
Right.
can go after? Maybe some industries have crossovers, like Rhonda. What you didn't finish your story is they took that chiropractor idea and they went into the small medical and became a small medical office coach.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the connection there, working with individual chiropractors, now working with small medical offices and
Right.
helping them. That's where you can have the crossover and see the connection.
Well, what he had in common, what the church situation and the chiropractor situation had in common was they had small offices of under 10 people. And
Right.
that's what he really liked to work with, was around 10 people in a small office. And so he could either stick with the churches or he was able to expand into all sorts of medical practices just
Mhm.
because he got clear on the one
That's
that he
right.
wanted to coach.
So,
Mhm.
in your organization, this individual who was going after small medical offices, you need to make sure you understand their challenges and
Mhm.
that they're aligned with your expertise
Right.
and what you want to focus. So, for example, maybe you want to focus on productivity, turnover, leadership, communication styles. What have you been trained on? What do you have experience on? Where can you add that value? List those challenging areas and how they affect the organization's bottom line, because that's really what they're going to focus on, as
Right.
well as morale, or maybe something else within the organization or within their teams.
Yeah, they're buying solutions.
Absolutely. The other
Mhm.
thing is topics. What topics can you train on? Have you experienced? Have you been certified? Have you gone through training so that you now are certified Myers-Briggs or Personalysis or some of these other training? That could be a way to get your foot in the door. What do you know? What do you feel comfortable with? What do you have the materials for and the expertise? And
Mhm.
as you're working with organizations, and I've hired coaches, and when I was in organizations, and what we want to see is, what's the value you as a coach are going to bring to that organization? How are you going to help me, the hiring manager? What do you have that makes you stand out above anybody else? And
Mhm.
that's part of that, is, why are you the best person to
Yeah.
help address their challenges? What do you bring? So, for example, this success could be you've had prior experience in changing team behaviors or enhancing team communications. Could be examples like helping teams achieve goals. It could be anything: strategic planning, diversity and inclusion. The bottom line is, who is going to be your ideal organization or corporate client, and how
Mhm.
do you define them so that you can go find them?
Right.
So, Rhonda, let's talk about individual clients now.
Let's
Maybe
do.
that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, because some of you are called to coach one-on-one. Some of you will do that inside of an organization, and others of you will do it of
Mhm.
outside of an organization. And so one of the first things that you need to know about is around their demographics, like who are they, where do they live, where do they work, what do they like to do for playtime, you need to kind of get a little bit of an intimate thinking around them personally so that you can start to figure out what their challenges are. It could be they have their work and their life are totally out of balance, although I don't know anybody who can fix that. To tell you the truth.
That's true.
But maybe maybe you're a family coach or a relationship coach and you've got those type of struggles that you're dealing with. Or maybe you're a career coach and your ideal client needs a new job or a career change. Or maybe you love working with retirees who are moving into that transition of retirement, or empty nesters reinventing themselves. You've got to figure out what keeps them up at night.
Yeah.
What are they searching for on the internet? What kind of problems are they just agonizing that they just can't get rid of?
Yeah.
And then what do they need to contrast that? What do they need help with overcoming or changing?
Yeah.
What's missing? What do they think they need versus what they really need? Because sometimes they have a misunderstanding in their own minds about what they need, right? Maybe they need a better relationship, better communication, more order, less chaos. Whatever it is, you need to figure that out. And then you need to figure out how you help them. Yes, you help them through coaching. We know that. But you need to be more specific about the solutions and how you're going to bring about that solution for them. They need to feel that hope and that confidence that you're the right person for the job.
Right. And Rhonda, as we come up and help them with those solutions, what we're doing is creating a transformational journey. And you as the coach want to understand what is your client's transformational journey from where they are today and where they want to be and where you want them to be after working with you.
Right.
And this is important. You've got to be able to answer this question, and you want to be descriptive about this. So I want to help individuals find a new job in the auto industry. That's very specific. Or I want to work with women, helping them transition to leadership positions in the automobile industry, even more descriptive. So you've got to create this, because what you want to be able to do is take this information and then begin to create packages in your services. Tomorrow we're going to talk about this, creating a coaching package to grow your revenue. So, as you get through this first step, then come back tomorrow, we can take you through that. So, but let's talk about this client transformational journey. Where are they now? The suffering, their pain points, their emotions that Rhonda was talking about. How do they want to feel? You've got to get to that emotion. How are they going to feel? Relieved, happier, satisfied, calm, not frustrated are some great examples. Yeah.
Well, let's just tell them why, though. People buy because of emotional reasons.
Right.
They buy because of emotion, which is why you've got to get in there on the emotion of how do they feel now and how should they feel after they've worked with you? What does that look like?
Exactly. It's helping to identify that emotion. And then you want to be specific, helping them identify you want to be able to say, what's the change? So better job, more income, a better marriage, better communication. What is it that's going to change? And then, one of the things you do want to say is what happens if they don't work with you. People know that if I don't do this, I'm going to stay stuck. I'm not going to move. I'm going to lose my skills. I'm going to lose opportunities. I may end up divorced. What is it? You want to be able to have them see that if I don't do this, what's going to happen? Somebody on one of our Facebook users said, people buy because of emotion, how you make them feel. You want them to feel that I understand you,
right? And
I'm here to help you. Think about the power in that. You're talking to somebody who's really struggling, and you can say that to them and you specifically say, I understand where you're struggling. You've got this, this, and this, but if we work together, I can help you do this, this, and this. So
yeah, and here's how we'll do that. We'll work through whatever. And so this is knowing that journey so that they can go all the way through. People really want to see that journey up front, because it's the hope that it's like they get to go to bed tonight.
Sleep. Yes. Yeah.
And sleep because they finally feel like they're, and you know what else is, this part has to stay with them and eat at them. What happens if they don't work with you?
Yeah.
You got to lay it out there for them.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times we want the solution, but we don't think far enough ahead to know how to get how much worse it can get.
Yeah.
Like we think we're gonna, I'll just keep searching, but it can really get bad,
Yeah.
And you got to help them see that.
Wow. We've covered a lot, haven't we? We've given a lot. We've put a lot out there. We've given you a lot of food for thought, right, Rhonda?
Yep. Yeah. And as we mentioned earlier, there's a lot of other things that you need to identify, as Ann said, around your support, your resources, your vision for your practice, and pulling it all together up front. It's really, the first section of the book is really for you to identify all of these little pieces that you need in order to begin launching your coaching practice. So this is just the beginning, and you can find more help and support in our Facebook group and on our website or YouTube channel. And so we look forward to seeing you guys there.
So Rhonda, what's next? What are we gonna share with them that we've got to announce?
Well, we are excited. We have worked all summer, and we are excited to announce the release of our new Launch and Grow Success Program, and it starts next Tuesday,
right,
September 20th, Tuesday nights, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, and it's for about 90 minutes. And this is our Launch and Grow Success Program, and we only have room for 6, and we've already got it like almost halfway full. So we want to make sure that everybody gets the attention, the individualized attention that they need, which is why we only have a few people. We only have openings for a few.
Right.
So yeah, and we've tested these exercises, and we know they work and will move you forward in your business. And it gives you the opportunity to learn from others and get new ideas. And it also requires that you work your patootie off.
Yes.
You have to work independently, because we've created 39 videos to help you on the way. So we're really excited about that. And we have a special introductory price. And Ann, I'm going to let you tell everybody what they get.
So this Launch and Grow Success Program, we have put a lot of effort into this to get you really started and to really move forward quickly in launching your program. So our special introductory rate is only $249. That's for 6 weeks, 90 minutes a week. In addition, we're going to send you a copy of the book. You've got a special exercise workbook that we'll give you through Dropbox that has the 53 exercises, so you can use them to fill in. We've got 39 training videos that has over 6 hours of training. And it's all these training videos follow the exercises. So they give you a little more insight and help. And we got this live coaching that we're going to provide every week for 90 minutes. And we're keeping it small just so we can really spend time with each of the 6 participants and really have them as part of this group share their problems, their challenges, ask for help. And really through the group also, we talked earlier, you need that support mechanism. This group will become your support mechanism too.
They will. And you know what? Ann and I say it often, all the time, the world needs more coaches. And so our goal is to get you launched and growing. And so that's why we've put this together, because we want you to have that accountability, the hand holding, all of the goodies, the support that you need to really push through and get up there and get out there. People need you.
So if they go to our website, right, Rhonda, they can find this on our website.
Yes. I'm sorry. It is Coach Business Guide. Sorry, did I miss the cue? I did. You can go to Coach Business Guide. Here, let me just copy this over.
Yeah.
CoachBusinessGuide.com. And then it's Launch and Grow Success Program, or you can just go to the products tab.
Yep.
And you'll find it on there. And so we are looking forward. We've got, I think we have 3 people right now. I think Gwen is asking how many are registered. We have 3, and we are looking forward to filling that up and having 6 more coaches pushed out of the nest.
Absolutely.
As soon as we can get you guys to get the work done. So anyway, we're looking forward to working with you.
Yeah. And if you want to launch your coaching practice, let us help you, because this is a great opportunity to work with us and get a jump start on your business.
Yep. And it will never be offered at this price again. I can promise you, because Anne won't let me. Right. Okay. So with that, we are happy that you joined us today, and we will be back again with more training. You can find us in the group and on the YouTube channel, and we look forward to seeing you soon, and seeing you in next week in the Launch and Grow Success. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.